So, hello everyone, we are ready to start again. Hello everyone, I'm very glad to welcome all of you on our HR business partner course, the strategic role in the company. And today we have class number 1, the role of human resources business partner, and we will talk about understanding the business. That is very important for this specific role. So let's start. Here, the course website that you may find the program in details and any data. So just visit the site and check everything. Our course program consists of 10 classes. Today, we are going to talk about the role and about how this role is forming understanding the business. Then on our next class, we will talk about how to strengthening financial literacy. And the third class will be about this approach, but not just understanding the company finances, but also applying the same approaches to human resources business partner work, like how to make decisions based on financial data, on calculations, on cost-benefit analysis, like how to make cost-benefit analysis of implementing new human resources information system. Class number 4 is going to be about meaningful analytics. So we will learn how to apply analytics to a job. Class number 5 is going to be about the strategic HR business partner as workplace architect, how to make employee workplace better. Then we will talk about the impact of engagement, collaboration, and retention, 3 main areas that HR business partner focuses on employee work, because the rest is done by central HR department that we will see today. Class number 7 is going to be about the process of workplace and workforce improvement. Class number 8 about strategic business partner as consultant and change agent, which is very important. Then we will talk about the CES methodology, consulting and execution skills, which is CES, and change management. And the last one will be about influencing skills and partnerships. Our today's class program is following how to be an effective business partner. So we will learn about this role, like competencies, some data, some analytics, some statistics, what it means to be a strategic partner. We will learn Human Capital Institute HR Business Partner competency model and framework. And then we will talk about some basic business understanding, like adding value to human resources, HR based on analytics and decision-making frameworks, strengthening business understanding, strategic direction, SWOT analysis and external factor analysis, which is PESTEL, and business support chain. So let's start our journey. And actually, let me introduce myself. My name is Mike Pritula, and I started my career at Alpha Bank, which is now Bank in Ukraine. And then I continued my job with Starlight Media at STB TV channel, which is one of the biggest media network in Ukraine. Then I worked for Wargaming, and actually I was HR business partner first at Alpha Bank. I was operations department HR business partner. And then I worked at Starlight Media. I had different roles. I started as head of human talent acquisition and onboarding department, and then I became HR director. But I switched my HR director job with Wargaming HR business partnership job because I wanted to focus on business rather than just on HR operations. So I worked as HR business partner for global publishing department at Wargaming, and it was just perfect. And then I worked with Preply and Ideals. I helped to build the HR department from scratch. I consulted PeopleForce about how to build the best-in-class human resources system. And now I teach my students in Mike Pritula Academy. I have more than 115 courses online, and more than 10,000 students graduated from my academy. In my job, I rely on best practices, and here just a small list of companies that I track, I read, I look for researches, for frameworks, for competency models, for service and everything, okay? And let me tell you about homework that is implemented in our courses. All completed homework assignments qualify for the diploma of completion. Here is an example of diploma, and we issue our diploma online on a special platform, which is Credible, and this platform is used by Google, Zendesk, Slack, Harvard University, and other companies. So this platform is very popular. So let's start from our today's class, and let's learn HR business partnership structure. So what does it mean, HR business partner role? Usually, we consider HR department as a three main directions: centers of expertise, shared services, and then HR business partners. HR business partners could be divided by business units or geographical divisions, or the same. At the same time, could be both. Like at Wargaming, we had business partners for every big business unit. Like myself, I was human resources business partner for global publishing department, 300 employees. But there were also HR business partners for geographical divisions. So let's say we have like, I don't remember exactly, but maybe 100 something employees in Australia. And then we had the HR business partner for those employees, right? So it was geographical HR business partnership. So that's how it's structured. And if we look deeper, then we can find this kind of situation. And sometimes we have this division on center of expertise and shared services, and sometimes not. Sometimes we may have HR director, then head of different HR departments like staff records, recruitment and adaptation, training and development, evaluation and remuneration, communications. Then we have business units, and then we have HR business partners working with business units and with functional HR departments. So they just act as account managers for their business units. How many HR business partners are there in the world? At the moment, if we look into LinkedIn and we apply some LinkedIn search approach and some filters, we will see that it's about 240,000 HR business partners in the world, and the biggest companies that have this role in their departments is Amazon with 2,000 HR business partners, Nestlé 600, Unilever 500, almost 600, right? Deloitte, PepsiCo, I think this is British American Tobacco, I think, EPAM, and SoftServe. Yeah, and if we look by company headcount, we will find the more HR business partners in 10,000 plus headcount companies, which is, I think, obvious, because the bigger company, the more it needs human resources business partners. And by locations, actually, we see that it's, I would say it's almost equal. So it's not something specific just for the United States or for European countries. It's everywhere. It's a popular job title for HR people in every country and in any kind of companies. Because here we have FMCG company, we have consulting company, we have high-tech company, right? So it's very well spread. What is also interesting, where they came from. So past company for all these HR business partners, of course, Amazon, because I think it's like an internal promotion, but then we have Accenture, we have Deloitte, we have EY, and Hayes. Hess is more about recruitment, staffing, and HR consulting. Accenture, Deloitte, EY is about business consulting. That proves the idea that it's connected to consulting. So that's why people are coming from consulting to this role. It's an interesting thing. So coming back to this structure, we call it three-legged HR model, which means we have business partners, we have shared services or HR operations, and we have centers of expertise. What are the main roles for each leg then? Business partners, they establish relationships with customers, like internal customers, of course, not external, business units, I would say. They contribute to divisional business plans. They help company to grow. They implement HR practices into the departments they work with. They represent central HR. So at Wargaming, we called it central HR window. So if someone wants to talk to HR, they go to this window and talk to people. Track needs and coordinate HR services, and they act as front office for all people in HR in business unit. Sometimes they have people partners. If they do have people partners in their team, so then just split. HR business partners work with business leaders like team leaders, managers, and people partners, they work with individual contributors, with just standard employees. That's it. If there is no people partners, then HR business partners work with managers and employees at the same time, but more time they spend with managers and less time they spend with employees. Then shared services or HR operations. This model we were building at Wargaming, and I helped to build this model actually. So shared services, they provide HR services like small HR, I would say transactional HR services. Manage routine processes efficiently, often use systems to provide basic information and answering calls, emails for point inquiries, can be outsourced and is considered as back office. And centers of expertise like Total Rewards and Corporate University and so on, they create HR products, policies, programs, practices. They develop and implement strategic HR initiatives. They specialize in benefits and compensation, employee relations, learning and development, talent management, organizational development, recruiting, headcount planning, and usually depend on business partners to implement programs in the business. So they work with business partners request some development from them, and then they develop these programs, practices, and everything. So this what we call three-legged HR model. Now let's talk about strategic HR business partner, because this course is more about strategic HR business partnership. Increased strategic HR business partner yields 21% higher employee performance, 26% better employee retention, 7% higher revenue, and 9% higher profitability. It's SHL, which is also SEB, which is also now Gartner research. But the average time spent on strategic activities is only 6 hours per week. So there are very big lack of time and efforts in strategic direction in HR. Research shows that HR professionals spend as little time on strategy as they did back in 1995, which is awful, of course. That's why we need more strategic HR business partners. That's why we have this course to teach how to be more strategic, not just to be as a, I don't know, operational HR, right? The quotation, they are very easy to identify. They express their thoughts in the language of business and priorities, unlike those who use only the language of HR. Right? So unlike central HR, business partners focus more on business, not on HR, not just on HR. Strategic HR business partnership competency model is developed by Human Capital Institute. You know, when I was researching for some competency framework, I found that there is no such a thing as HR business partnership framework or competency model rather than just Human Capital Institute. The only institution and the only organization that spent some time to develop the competency framework is Human Capital Institute. That's why I'm thanking this, I'm saying thank you to this institution. And that's why we are focusing our course on these key competency areas. So they have three pillars: business acumen, improvement of personal and workplaces, and problem solving. And in our course, we will learn all these three pillars and each competency, which are understanding business, financial literature, meaningful analytics, ECR role. ECR stands for engagement, collaboration, and retention, building trust and transparency, 9 steps to increase ECR, then counseling skills, effective change management, communicating and influencing skills. And this is the competency model that we are organizing our course around. And also Human Capital Institute, they have strategic HR capability framework, which I also like. And it consists of create strategy-based solutions, used data for insights, know the business, and consult and collaborate. And these main areas we will learn for the next 10 classes, starting from today. So when I was HR business partner at Wargaming, I started my journey with a course that I took from Human Capital Institute. It was quite specific course. My course is, I would say, is very different from what I learned, but I like the idea. I like the competency model and directions. And of course, I added a lot of my experience, a lot of my personal tools to this course. So this course is very different from what I took, but I just show you that I also have this diploma from Human Capital Institute. Of course, I have much more diplomas. I have my PHRI certification and so on, my coaching certification. Also talking about some frameworks, some competency models, we can't talk about, of course, Dave Ulrich. Dave Ulrich did a lot to human resources and to focus human resources on HR business partnership and on business actually. So Ulrich model is the model of key HR roles that we have to serve in the company. We have strategic partner role, change agent, admin expert, and employee champion. And as you can see here, our human resources business partnership is more about change agent, but also partly about being strategic partner and a little bit by being employee champion. So here I have the detailed description of all 4 roles, and about agent of change role, you may read following. So function of this role: transformation and change management, outcome, effective transformation and change, and actions, understands organizational culture and effectiveness, increases the organization's readiness for change, helps leaders lead and implement changes, act as a consultant in organizational change, and enhances executive development. Of course, we will take partly here and part of this role as our HR business partnership role as well. So we'll learn how to improve people work, and we will learn how to better understand the business. Impact, it's again SHL research. Impact of competencies on HR business partnership effectiveness. Business acumen competency has the biggest impact on efficiency, but also we have workforce planning, engagement strategies, succession management, performance management, and retention strategies. Talking about being strategic and thinking about, am I strategic now? Try to answer following questions. How do you manage talent? How do you engage in strategic activities yourself? What is your HR strategy? How well do you measure HR effectiveness? How well do you measure HR productivity, and how well do you measure impact? Having answers to these questions can help you to understand if you're strategic enough. What it means to be and act as a strategic HR business partner. It's about recommendations, analysis, and findings based on business information, not just on people information. Initiatives are numerically linked to outcomes that impact the financial bottom line of the business. HR experienced in industry, organizational, and competitive issues. Responsible at the same level as other functions, communicates boldly with stakeholders, and acts boldly. Okay. Another quotation, it was my manager, Vladimir Borodensky. He was the CEO of STB TV channel and then Starlight Media. Actually, Starlight Media, one of the biggest, if not the biggest one, media company in Ukraine and in Central and I think Eastern Europe. So the rule, responsibility is not something you are given. Responsibility is something you take for yourself and don't discuss it with anyone else. When I was becoming this kind of person to be and to act as business partner, I was asking my manager if I may have more responsibility, because I was feeling like if I have more responsibility, I can do more for the company. So I asked my manager, Vladimir Vladimirovich, could I have more responsibility at work? And he actually answered this. Again, responsibility is not something you are given. You don't need to ask for responsibility. Responsibility is something you take for yourself and don't discuss it with anyone else. Strategic HR issues. How can we attract and hire the best talent globally? These issues, actually the issues that strategic HR business partners are trying to solve. How can we make better choices about where to locate and grow business globally? Just try to fill this role. Try yourself being answering these questions. Not just answering, of course, implementing answers. What is the best mix of building, buying, and borrowing talent? What are the key levers for engaging and retaining key talents? What capabilities should the next generation of global leaders have? How can we dramatically accelerate innovation in the company? How can we place the right people in the right places with the right skills for the right cost? How can talent be placed and utilized to effectively manage risk in the company? Okay. Another quotation, when HR leaders make economic intelligence and analytics work for them, they see that they hold more strategic value for the business, which relies on them to turn human potential into measurable business value. It's Deloitte. How many HR business partners are there in the companies? It depends, of course, on the size of the company. So if the company is a small size, only 30% of those companies have HR business partnership roles, and quantity of HR business partners is in average 1.5. The bigger company is, the more chances they have HR business partners, and the more HR business partners works in the company. So imagine you want to be an HR business partner and you are looking for the next opportunity. Look for bigger companies. Required work experience for HR business partners. Under 3 years, 3 and 6 years, from 6 to 12, and more than 12. And you can see here that actually work experience requirements are close to HR director. And actually, I would say that HR business partners are at the same level as HR director, right? So a lot of HR business partners were previously HR directors. That's okay, actually. And it also could be that HR directors from smaller company, they go for bigger companies and became HR business partners. Now it was about HR business partner role, and now let's talk about understanding the business. Our first competency in competency framework, and I would say it's very important understanding for being HR business partner, right? So we have this business word in the job title. So what's understanding business? It's about seeing the big picture of how an organization succeeds and works together. In business, it's about understanding how your company makes money and how your behavior and decisions can impact financial performance. You know, when I joined Wargaming, during my probation period, I have one of my goals to understand clearly how Wargaming makes money from its free-to-play games. In government and NGOs, understanding how your organization creates value, spends money, and achieves its mission. Gaining an understanding of business. Strategy and strategic initiatives. What is the direction of our company and what are we trying to achieve? This provides a direction for leveraging talent and utilizing it effectively. It's also about external factors and SWOT analysis, what external and internal factors affect our company. Also, it's about understanding business value chain, how does the company make money and create value. Alignment and vision tools, how does the strategy relate to positions and resource allocation? And industry research, what information is informative about my company's industry? This is, I would say it's basic what you need to understand about your company to be business oriented enough. So let's learn how to do that. First, strategy and strategic initiatives. Being HR business partner, you need to understand your company strategy. So this is another quotation. Creating a competitive advantage requires the right people strategy, but it doesn't just mean people first. It means strategy first and the development of personnel who can implement the strategy. Strategic concepts. Organizational strategy defines the business you run and the value of the products and services you provide. Defines where you want to go. Examples of common competitive strategies: operational excellence, distribution network, product innovation, close relationship with the customer. Differentiation is the key. A me-too strategy destroys value. There must be a link between strategy and strategic initiatives from all company activities. Tools like a competitive differentiation map provide the required level of detail on top of the overall strategies. And talking about company strategy, if you work as HR business partner for business unit, let's say for marketing, you may also want to know marketing strategy because usually in the company there are the business level strategy and then business units or functional departments level strategies. So let's say HR strategy, marketing strategy, could be financial strategy, sales strategy, logistics strategy, and so on. So it's better to understand both the company level strategy and your business unit or your function strategy. Let's move on. What is strategy? Strategy is action plan for achieving the company's long-term goals. Every single word matters. Plan, so it's not just a set of goals. It's a plan how we achieve these goals. It's about actions, what we are going to do. It's about achievement. We are not just supporting the current level. We want to gain the next level. It's about being long-term, since it's about thinking ahead of the time, like 1 year and more, and of course setting goals. Okay. What is successful strategy? Not every strategy is successful. There is a very good book that I'm going to recommend you at the end of this class. So successful strategy consists of synergy, controlling unnecessary movements, is based on what the company does best, holistic and logical, uses structure to enhance performance, and is based on company culture. How to execute the strategy? It's very important to understand. It's described by Harvard Business Review. Strategy execution is a result of thousands of decisions made daily by employees. So it's not something is made by annually or monthly by managers, but rather daily by employees who act according to the information they have and their own self-interest. So if you want the strategy to be executed, I mean, to be realized, to be implemented, you need to share it with your employees, to teach your employees what's it about, and to align their own interests with the strategy via reward system, via behavior management system like company culture or competency models, and so on. Remuneration, so on. It's John Cotter, Harvard Business Review again. Today, any company that doesn't rethink its direction at least every few years, while constantly adjusting to current circumstances, and then quickly making significant operational changes, puts its business in jeopardy. So we are talking about the strategy, and distinction between companies is the key to be the effective and to be the competitive, right? So it's very important for HR business partners to understand why my company and by what is different from my competitors. So you may to use the spreadsheet and compare your company and other competitors by customer service, product variety, product quality, maybe store size, access to stores, utilization of technology, and other factors. Now let's talk about strategic initiatives, which are very important. And in these strategic initiatives, HR business partners, they take the very important roles. So initiatives or projects, actually projects equal to initiatives, that have a major impact on strategy implementation and financial performance. This changes from year to year due to project ending or change in business circumstances. Examples of strategic initiatives: ERP implementation, process improvement, mergers, new market entry, cost containment goals, focus on cross-functional collaboration, responding to new threats from competitors, reorganization, and so on. Where to get this kind of strategic information? You may learn from annual reports, company documents and website, investor papers and reports, external press and external websites, focus groups, and interviews with business management. Sometimes you don't have enough strategic information. You may just organize a set of interview, meet each manager, and ask questions. That's what I did firstly when I joined the wargaming company. I made a list of questions, and then I met with almost, I think, 30 different managers. I asked my questions to understand the business strategy and circumstances and everything. Tool, strategic focus. So it's something that you may want to describe for yourself, your company strategy and your unit strategy or functional strategy, company values, and current list of strategic initiatives, just to monitor them, to take participation, to help, to contribute, so on. Also, talking about the company and strategy, we can't talk about market forces that have impact on your company. It's described by Porter's 5 forces that describes how different 5 forces influence your company. And you have to pay attention to all these forces. Of course, we always talk about competitors. Yes, of course, we have competitors. We need to monitor them, and their actions actually influence our company. But also, we have new entrants that can enter the market and become the new competitor. So we need to pay attention to this. Also, we have substitutes. Today we use something, but tomorrow something can substitute it, like it was before with digital cameras, with LCD monitors, and with laser printers and everything. Then supplier power. We are dependent from our suppliers like Apple, depends on screen suppliers, battery suppliers, and buyer power. Buyers could be organized into groups and could do a lot of damage to the company if they want to boycott something or ignore something. So it's very important to pay attention to all these 5 forces, monitor them and manage them. Then another business approach and business tool is BCG matrix. BCG refers to Boston Consulting Group matrix. Sometimes we call it Boston matrix, and it describes the situation of company product or region. So we can talk about our products or region as stars, cash cows, question marks, and pets or dogs. These 4 positions is organized by market growth, which could be low or high, and current market share could be low or high. So if I think this is market share high. This is a mistaken words. This is strange because, okay, I will explain myself. Cash cow, yeah, for some reason they described it wrongly. Sorry for this mistake. Okay, I will explain myself. Cash cow, we call the product that have very big market share but low market growth. So cash cow generates a lot of money but they have almost zero growth. This is an established product that is very profitable and company pays a lot of attention to that. Stars, we call the products with high market share growth and low market share. So it's growing and we have a lot of attention on it and we expect a lot from it. We expect stars to be a cash cow. That's why we're building that. Question marks, stars have big market share and big market share growth, but question marks have big market share growth, but small current market share. So question mark is something we expect to be stars. Stars is our main products and they will become cash cow as soon as they achieve their market share. And pets, the description is right, but for some reason they put it, you see, pets, products that have a low growth rate and a low market share. Yeah, low growth rate and big market share, high market share, higher growth rate, high growth rate, low market share. Yeah, they have only one mistake here. Is going to be high market share and it is going to be situated not here but in the different direction. Okay, for some reason they draw it differently. Then we have the company life cycle. It's very important to understand at what stage of company life cycle your company is, because at different stages company have different problems, different needs, and different situation actually. So, and it's very important to understand, you know what I noticed, when people, most likely managers, come to our company from the company on different company life cycle stage, they notice something different and they don't realize that that's just another stage of life cycle. It's not our company is different, right? So it's very important to understand the current life cycle stage, the current situation, issues, needs, and everything. Then the concept of red ocean and blue ocean. Every company wants to be in the blue ocean. It's about creating a new market where is no competitors, because by red ocean, we mean the situation where there are a lot of competitors and it's hard to survive. Now move on to external. It's everything about strategy. Now let's talk about external factors and SWOT analysis. These two are tools that help in understanding both the external and internal circumstances of a company. Do an external analysis first, a starting point for a SWOT analysis, track quarterly or when conditions change, support decisions with business leaders and employees, and these factors can be important ways to determine your strategic plan. SWOT analysis is a tool that helps us to analyze strengths and weaknesses of our company internally and opportunities and threats of our company externally. To fill this part of SWOT analysis, you may need PESTEL analysis. PESTEL analysis refers to politics, economics, society, technologies, environment, and legislation. So you just pay attention to every direction. You describe how possible impact on the company every factor have, and you then describe what kind of impact it could have on the team. And then you fill SWOT analysis. Then value analysis. Value analysis is very important for HR business partners to understand how a company generates money. Value analysis is answer to these questions. How does a business make money or create value? How does a business make money with the language of a street kiosk? Analogy: follow a molecule through the organism of a biological species. Start at the end with the money or value created for the customer, track every part of the organization that touches the money value, and find the value that is being added and the obstacles that may arise at this stage. Value can be defined as money, time, quality, invention, service provided, or other specific criteria. Here is a value-added chain. So usually, company has primary and support activities. And it's very important to understand in your company what kind of activities are considered to be main or primary, like service, marketing, sales, outbound logistics, operations, inbound logistics, and what kind of activities are considered to be support activities, like procurement, technology, human resources management, firm infrastructure. And for your company, you may describe it step by step, like here from this example of creating a new tennis racket. So we have different components of our organization. We have the contribution to value and possible barriers. So it's very important to study for your company. You may use this tool and understand how it's created the money. Then alignment and visibility area, which is very important for HR business partners to connect their employees' work with the company strategy. So it's about logical alignment to strategy and strategic initiatives is a very useful way for HR professionals to make decisions. 3 different types of alignment, from HR to company to employee. This is where cascading ends and strategic execution begins. Companies that are perfectly aligned internally get huge benefits. The stronger the connection and sense of meaning, the more engaged, loyal, and motivated the company's employees are. Staff alignment is a key outcome of workforce planning. So we have business strategy. It answers the question, what do we want to accomplish? Then we have needed roles, which answers what roles are critical to the execution of business strategy. Again, these questions are very important for HR business partners to understand. So try to find these questions, answers to the questions internally. Then competencies, what competencies are needed to fulfill these roles? And finally, talent matching. What is our talent supply? How well are employees matched to the requirements? Are the most critical positions really filled by the best talents? Is a job for A talents? And strategy and structure first, and only then people. Of course, we take care of people a lot, not like anyone else. But we need to understand that strategy and business first. Organizational alignment chain, strategic goal or initiative, like expand global presence in Brazil, India, and China. Then we align our HR objective. What type of organization, people, and their capabilities will need to expand our presence in the countries by X%. Recruit, engage, develop, and retain business development experts in these countries. And departmental purpose. Hire experienced business development experts in India and China. And then could be team goals. Develop competency model, create recruiting profiles, and identify candidate sources. So for goal settings, you take company objectives and you align unit goals with company objectives, right? So here, just an example how you may do this. And the idea here is to have employee alignment. We have company strategy and company values. Then we align business goals to that, department goals, position goals, and employees. And it creates employees line of sight. So employee doing their everyday job, they see how they contribute to the strategy. So we do target cascading. Another example, how we align all objectives of all departments, in this case, HR departments with the strategy. And then industrial research. It's very important for HR business partners to understand what's happening in your industry, in general, in your country. Could be publicly accessible sites which should be examined and reviewed. Then Glassdoor, LinkedIn, they have perfect this inside LinkedIn site. Google News, Reuters, industry and trade associations, government sites, innovation sites, leading business journals like Harvard Business Review, and news sources with strong business and financial sections like New York Times, Financial Times, and others. Here are some set of different sources that you may want to track and to read on a regular basis. So we were talking about business acumen competency. At the end of this discussion, I am giving you the set of ideas how you may learn through new experiences this competency, how you may learn from others this competency, and what you can learn from courses and materials for this competency. So this is a set of development activities that you may want to include in your personal development plan further. And here is a tool that you may assess yourself as HR business partners by answering the questions, how often you do that, like never, rarely, sometimes, usually, almost, always. And you want to move all your answers after a while to the most right column. So you want to do it constantly and regularly. Also here, we are having our, I would say, business meetings talking points. So try to ask these questions to your managers and discuss what is our strategy, core business, and reason, etc. What are we doing that we shouldn't be doing? What keeps you awake at night? How do we compete now and in the future? How do we make money? Which groups make the most significant contributions to our business? And so on and so forth, right? So the idea here is to have perfect communications with your managers. Now the homework for our students, and if you are not on the list, just join our course and you'll be HR business partner just within 10 classes. Apply your choice of 2 tools for your company. Tools, by tools we mean this is a tool, so you may use this, or this one, or actually almost, or this one. Almost every spreadsheet is a tool here. Or you may want to fill pastel or SWOT analysis or both. So these are tools, right? Also strategic focus tool, distinction tool. So all these tools you may use for your homework. And recommended books that I mentioned before, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy, with just a perfect book, and Blue Ocean Strategy, again, is a good book for better understanding your business. That's it for today. Next time we will talk about strengthening financial literacy. So see you soon. I'm waiting for your homework and thank you for the participation. Thank you. Bye. Cheers.